Well, if you have taken a road trip in Texas, you might have noticed them. Massive wind turbines producing energy. But as Jeremy Rogalski reports, the power from the farms doesn't always make it to your home.
In the Panhandle, West Texas, and here in the Rio Grande Valley, towering wind turbines have sprouted up everywhere, making Texas the #1 wind power producing state. But it's not just getting produced.
Do you think average Texans know this is going on?
I don't think so.
It's getting wasted too, says Jenny Fink with EDF Renewables.
And it's really frustrating to see that we have the capability to produce more power than we're actually able to get to the people who need it.
They cannot get it to where it needs to go. This EDF wind farm can generate power for 77,000 Texas homes. But on these nearby power lines, there's often a roadblock to get it all there. Think of transmission lines as electricity highways that can safely handle only so many cars. When they get congested with power generators trying to get on, the grid manager ERCOT, much like a traffic cop, limits or constrains the amount of traffic flowing on the road.
And if there isn't that highway space available for us to move the energy effectively and efficiently, then we actually have to tell the turbines to stop generating.
And so what you're telling me is you can have a pretty windy day, but look up here a couple hundred feet and those things won't be spinning.
Yeah, and those are really frustrating days.
That frustration, EDF says, happened in the winter storm.
We have no heat, no power at our house.
Never been through anything like this before.
While millions of Texans were left in the dark, the company's South Texas wind farm was able to produce power. But as it told state lawmakers,
additional megawatts of generation were available, but could not be delivered because over 90% of the highway was blocked.
ERCOT has put such a block on more than a dozen transmission lines across the state. Behind these bottlenecks, electricity, mostly cheap wind and solar power, is essentially trapped.
And that has a cost.
Carrie Bivens is the independent market monitor, a watchdog over ERCOT.
When you have to tell them that they can't generate as much because there's transmission problems, you're losing some of the benefit of those low-cost resources.
On the other side of the bottleneck, Bivens says, power is more scarce, and scarcity in the competitive Texas market drives up prices.
And it's billions of dollars. Last year it was $1.4 billion.
And where do those costs get passed on?
They'll eventually end up in your resale rates.
The consumer.
The consumer.
On some of the electricity highways, the constraint is severe. The one out of the valley is rated to handle 6,000 megawatts. Think 6,000 cars. But ERCOT has cut the megawatt traffic down 90% to only 650 cars. So we had to ask,
why does ERCOT limit the amount of power that can flow on these lines so much?
We have to manage all of the transmission lines to make sure that we're not overloading any line.
Brad Jones is ERCOT's interim CEO.
Simply similar to if you hook too many Christmas lights together, you're going to have a problem. You'll blow a fuse eventually.
The solution to all of this seems obvious. Build more transmission lines. But that's expensive and can take 6 years, a timetable that can't keep up with new wind and solar farms built in less than 2.
Those two don't quite align.
Not really.
Is that part of the problem?
That's part of the problem.
The other part, says EDF Renewables' Alex Miller, there's been no proactive way to fix it.
Given that everything is kind of reactive in the ERCOT market, the way it's designed, the solutions don't come before the problems. First you have to get a problem, then you can maybe get a solution.
That seems a little bass backwards.
That's the way it's set up.